Oh. I'm going to have to talk kind of low and slow, because everybody's gone to bed. Except me. There's no one in the place except you and me. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff lately to do with mental health. It's something you're hearing a lot. It's a buzzword right now. It's nothing new. It's something everyone has to deal with, some way or another. Something I've had to battle with all my life. I've been afraid to talk about it. I'm still careful. I saw my first psychiatrist when I was a troubled teen. You know what that means? And that was not a good experience. The last time I saw a psychiatrist, which was way more recently than that, he said to me, "Margaret, I would caution you against telling anyone that you have bipolar disorder." A psychiatrist said to me, "Don't tell." If I'd been gay, maybe that's what he would have said 25, 30 years ago. There used to be a time when psychiatrists treated being gay as a disease, mental illness, mental disorder, and it had to be cured or managed, or you had to just stay away from the one you wanted to love. Well, you can still say, "Don't tell anybody." You know, a psychiatrist can instill terror in you for wanting to talk about it a little bit. We're supposed to reach out for help. I wrote a thing for Facebook, and I'm going to just, without waking anybody up, I hope, I'll just read it. Something has happened in recent times. Media are now referring to mental health issues rather than mental illness. I used to wonder, I still wonder, how can you be ill and well at the same time? Basically, you can't. The labeling was problematic and very stigmatizing. Years ago, we spoke of cancer victims, even if the person was still alive and recovering. That dire label was dumped at some point for words like survivor and warrior. Language does affect the way we think, more than we know. It is somewhat more palatable to say, somebody's out there, I have mental health issues, than to say, I am mentally ill. Sorry to do it like that. I'm mentally ill. Oh, please. It's supposed to mean the same thing, but does it? Does it? If not, why not? But how miserable is that second one, locking you into a category of lifelong illness with no possibility of parole? Are they the same thing? A few years back, I mentioned to somebody, why is it there's all these runs and walks and events for cancer, especially breast cancer at the time, and there's nothing for mental health or mental illness? And they looked at me with a, what? What? And then they sort of uncomfortably changed the subject. Why? One woman rode a horse across Canada for mental illness. Everybody went, yay, and she made $20. She was all by herself, one person on a horse. No runs, no walks. When you're in the psych ward, guess what? If you're getting your tonsils out, you might get flowers and cards and visits. Well, when you're in the psych ward, guess what? You're not likely to get any of that, because it's the psych ward. It shouldn't be that way. Never should have been that way. Ever should have been that way, and I hope it's changing. It can't change fast enough for me. I'm even afraid to post this. It doesn't seem to work for me when I tell my story. People just run. It shouldn't be that way. From troubled teen to now being, talking into a camera late at night and wondering if I dare put this out there so people can see it. What's the harm? What, God, there isn't any harm. It's just paranoia that came from medical professionals telling me to shut up. Shut up about it and be normal. Keep your mouth shut, act normal, be normal, put your head down and keep going. what I was told. And that's what I do. You know, I've been watching the whole Meghan and Harry thing. He can hear me out there. Not that I'm paranoid. I've been watching the whole Meghan and Harry thing, and Harry, he's a good guy. You know, I think he's got possibilities as a royal. He does talk about mental health. He even started crying once. He's talked about his mother and the trauma. Not just of losing your mom, but having to walk behind the coffin. That is medieval torture, and that's child abuse. He was made to do it, and no one even questioned it. It was what was done. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it, and they had to drag him. This little boy. When he talks about mental health, is he talking about grief? Is that mental illness? Is grief mental illness? No, grief is grief. Part of life. If Harry stood up and said, "Hello, everyone, I'm mentally ill," what would they think? "I have a mental illness, everyone." He's not going to say that. You know, the only people who have to say that are, well, I guess people like me. You can't dress it up. I'm glad to see this coming out of the closet. But when I talked to that same psychiatrist, it was quite some time ago, I said, we haven't even had our stone wall yet. Most of you will probably know what that means. There was a watershed event in gay awareness, if you like, rights, which was called Stonewall, which was a riot, basically. People's rights were being taken away. The mentally ill, we haven't had our Stonewall yet. We still have to say mental health, and it's much preferable to speak in terms of health, because there's some hope. Mental illness is forever, isn't it? Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. You can be ill and well at the same time, but it's a hell of a lot of double talk to have to live with. I am well today, I know that. And I've been hideously sick over and over and over again. And I've come back, and I've come back, and I've come back. It's raising awareness is kind of like thoughts and prayers. And right now the big thing is reach out for help, and I agree, you have to do that. But it's like, okay, reach out for help. Bye, we're done, case closed. It's up to you now. What if that person is too sick and needs somebody else to step in and say, I'll help you? That doesn't happen. Not too often anyway. I shouldn't be bitter, but I probably won't post this. I'm glad this is happening, but it's happening a little too late for people like me who've just felt, oh man, branded. It's like, you know, they stick a brand in your skin. It's not even a tattoo, it's a brand. No. You'll never get away. It doesn't matter how long you've been well. And if the healthcare professionals are going, don't tell anybody, what he said is everybody will look at you differently then. And I guess that's probably true. So if you look at me at all now, I don't have many subscribers, and maybe that's a godsend. Nobody will look at this anyway. And by the way, YouTube, this is not for kids. This is for adults only. Although it is an issue that affects everyone. It's just that people pretend that it doesn't. So my heartfelt wish is that people live up to what they're saying. And they really do go to the psych ward and visit their friend. Go to the psych ward where your friend is. The psych ward where your friend is. Visit them. Bring flowers. It's okay to bring flowers into a psych ward. It's not a bad joke. People in the hospital need you. They need you. But please, try to change your thinking.